much as it's nice to have a goal or a destination or some kind of place to end up, it's also really nice sometimes to just do things for the sake of doing them. And I notice the tension at times between the desire to say something meaningful and finding the balance of remembering that it doesn't really matter what we say most of the time. It's not about the words that we use, because it's not necessarily the words that have the impact. It's what's behind them. It's the I can use any word really, but state. It's the feeling, sentiment, intention. I often forget that. I start to think it's all about me again, and that I'm the one who has the ability to make a difference in people's lives. I'm the one who has the knowledge, and I'm the one who has the experience, and all of these things make it all about me. But I have to remind myself, less so these days, but it still happens. I have to remind myself that it's not about that. That's just a function of a mind that's been conditioned to believe that its value is measured by something tangible. Its value is measured by what's being said, or what's being experienced, or what's being done. But there's also this awareness behind that which does all the heavy lifting for us. And athletes refer to it as the flow state. Spiritual teachers or people who pursue the spiritual path will call it presence. It's the same thing, it's just the absence of identification with all that stuff that's going on up in the mind. It doesn't mean it's not there necessarily, it just means that there's less attention being paid to it. And for the most part we suffer because we give almost 100% of our attention to the story that's being painted, being told about the things which are happening in our lives, and the responses we experience and the emotions we experience are just reactions to that. But because the story's been there for such a long time, we don't realise it until we slow down for long enough to realise that or to see that it's like a tape on repeat. Or these days maybe an MP3 on repeat. We haven't really asked for it to continue, but it does. And the value here isn't in what I can teach you, it's not what I can show you, it's what you have the capacity to remember about yourself that's always been true. But somewhere along the way, someone or something has happened, or many things have happened, and we just lose sight of that. It doesn't mean it's not there. It doesn't mean that your ability to overcome hardships is not present. It's just most of what we surround ourselves with in some way, either directly or indirectly, reinforces the belief that we are somewhat at the mercy of our circumstances, and there isn't anything we can do about that. And if we can do anything about it, it tends to look something along the lines of management or coping or some form of working with or against, perhaps in some cases. But nowhere in there is the possibility of overcoming, transcending implied. And I say this because I don't see the point of this work, the work of remembering that we're more than what we take ourselves to be, that we're more than what we think. I don't see the point of that we arrive at some place where we never have anything going on in our minds. It's just simply that we have a perspective that there is more to life than just the noise. There is more to life than just the narrative. And that we lean into that more increasingly and realize that it's so much vaster than what the narrative suggests, that the narrative starts to become less important. And I don't see the value of us working on ourselves to be just focused on changing one or two aspects of who we are. It's more about seeing those things as part of a bigger picture. It's like isolating the sun. And the sun is going down at the moment. I'd love to show you, but I've just walked somewhere that it's quite hard to see. The sun is going down, and if we fixate on the sun alone, we don't see all the colours and the shadows and the highlights and the tones. And that's the thing, we get to find some sense of order when we see things as part of the bigger picture. And the bigger picture doesn't mean we become ignorant of the things that we struggle with or the things that we perceive to limit us. It just means that relative to the entirety of how life is and how life works and what we're capable of, it's just turns the volume down on it slightly, and sometimes that's enough. Sometimes it's enough to have our internal voice taken from a 10 to an 8, and then maybe from an 8 to a 6. Sometimes it's nice, it just spontaneously disappears, and it does. You may not notice it because, well, most of the time when we're just in the moment enjoying ourselves, it doesn't occur to us to seek an internal critic to judge the experience. We're just enjoying the experience as it's happening, as it's unfolding. So I don't think the point is to eradicate something completely. It's just to put it in its place. And everything has a place. As much as it may seem otherwise, and people may tell us otherwise, it does have a place. When we start to zoom out slightly, we get to see what that place truly is. Just like the sun has its place in the sky. As to the shadows and everything else.